Hello and welcome to today's Delta Credit Tip. So you go to your lender asking for that loan and they go, not today. You need a cosigner. Is this really a good idea? Well, tune in and we're going to tell you just when you should and should not use a cosigner right here on today's Delta Credit Tip. Hello and welcome to today's Delta Credit Tip. I'm Michael Holmes of Delta Credit Restoration, bringing you yet more information to help you in your credit restoration process. Today we're talking about getting a cosigner. Should you do it? Should you not do it? Right? Hopefully you find this information helpful. If so, give us that thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell so that every week as we come out with more information to help you in the credit restoration process or credit building, this comes to you right away, okay? And you get the information, you can use it, you can move forward to the next thing. But today we're gonna talk about a cosigner. So if you go to your lender and they say, no, we can't approve you for this loan, you need a cosigner, you gotta understand what's really going on, okay? At that point, your credit score isn't exactly what's getting in the way. It might have to be a contributing factor, but ultimately it's not the straw on the camel's back, so to speak, that actually is causing you the decline, okay? If they're coming, the thing is, if you're having two borrowers, all right, if there's a cosigner and a co-borrower are the same thing. If there are two borrowers going into the loan application, whoever's got the lowest credit score is going to determine the rate and the approval decision, okay, based on the score itself, right? That minimum score criteria is going to be established whether or not you pass it by the person with the lowest score. And typically it's the middle score. So if they're coming to you asking you for a co-signer or a co-borrower, the score is not the reason. Now, obviously, the higher the score, potentially, the more they'll allow you to borrow, right? But it's all going to be based on the other primary factor that lenders look at, or at least one of three primary factors that they look at, and that is your income, okay? If they're coming back to you and they're saying you need a cosigner, what they're saying is that they don't trust that your income, with whatever debt loads you currently have going into the application with, they don't trust that you're gonna have the ability to consistently pay. So they're asking for a second person to come on board for one of two reasons. But ultimately, it's to pay, right? It's to pay every month and to be held responsible in case something goes wrong, okay? Either way, it's still paying. It's still based on, hey, can we get our money out of you? So here's the thing. You may not get the loan without it. Let's just be real, right? There's an income restriction. So either you decrease your debt load or you increase your income. If you can't do that, then you're going to need to introduce a cosigner to qualify. And we do what we got to do, right? But here's the problem. A lender is going to give you the ability to borrow based on an assessment of your credit, your income, and your assets. The assets was the third one I mentioned, okay? When it comes to income, if they are requiring you to have a secondary source of income to appease them, then you should trust their judgment, okay? They do this for a living to protect the lender. Okay, the underwriter, who is the person that ultimately makes the decision on your loan, is not the bad guy, right? They are actually the ones that are there to protect both the bank and the consumer, okay? Because they don't want either one to have problems. Because if you as the borrower have problems, the bank has problems. So they want to be very articulate on how they're reading loans and getting loans done. And they're going to base your ability to pay on the amount of income stated on the application and proven through the process of the loan processing. So if your income is $2,000 a month and your cosigner brings in an additional $2,000 a month, well, that's a $4,000 a month income, double what you earn, which qualifies you as a combined joint applicant the ability to pay something that requires a $4,000 a month income. So if you get this loan, if you're successful, and this cosigner isn't actually helping you pay the bill, now we got problems. Because how are you going to do it? Ultimately, you are outside the guidelines of being approved. So you've used the system now to sidestep it and qualify for something that you shouldn't have. And I know sometimes we got to do what we got to do. You need things like transportation. I get it. I understand. But it's rarely going to be because of your credit alone. So if they are asking you for a cosigner, ask them to be specific as to why. Okay? And if it's an income issue, try to fight that for in a different way. Maybe you can show them that you have a short-term debt on your credit report and it won't last that long. So maybe extract that from the debt to income ratio, right? Or maybe you have a part-time job you didn't maybe think to add on there, or alimony or child support or some other source of income that you can include in that application. Accurate information, right? Remember, for us, your credit is not a score. I could care less what your credit score is. What I care about are the behaviors that lead to the score. And sometimes credit repair isn't about just cleaning stuff up on the back end. It's about going into these relationships the right way, right? Making decisions the right way going in. And so you've got to be careful if you're going to use the system like that, because you could put yourself in some hot water later on and create an even bigger financial problem for you down the road, right? So if you are in a situation where there is income that you're getting in that is not really traceable, or that you didn't put on the application or whatever, and it won't be a problem, fine. If you've got a cosigner who's actually going to be a co-payer, then maybe, hey, you know what, that's cool because it's an accurate application. But if you're putting that cosigner on there just so that you can get approved for the loan and it's an income-driven decision, just be careful, all right? So hopefully this information helps. If so, give us that thumbs up again, subscribe, hit the bell so that every week as we come out with more stuff, you get it right away and it helps you make a choice to make a change.